Hey guys, it's Latros, and this is a speed build of my battle arena. On paper, you can view my blueprints of a complex planning process, which took me a total of 30 seconds, followed by the demolishing of hills, the collection of thousands of terracotta blocks, and the transfer of a 30-second drawing to a 3D outline. Now, as far as the layout is visible, I had a general idea for the shape, at least of the smaller arenas. Here I am placing the flooring down. I use soapstone for the large arena's lower floor, outlined by obsidian, and white terracotta for the smaller arenas. On the left side, I start with the winter arena, make a little igloo, then I create a little divot where I fill with water covered by thin ice. Meaning you could take an ice bath in the middle of your fight with an opponent at any time you wish. Or if you want to give your neighbor a little slap into an ice bath when they least expect it during the fight with swords, that is acceptable. Then I top off the winter biome with ice spires. The next area is the grassy arena. I make a little dirt hut here with a surprise in it if you enter, then cover the ground with various flowers. Then I grow a singular tree, but the other one pops up later because I ran out of bone meal. Then because I have a lot of red terracotta and unfortunately limited time, I had to use that color for too much of this build. Then I move to a better perspective, and luckily replace the floors, randomly spin, and then begin the build. The theme for this arena is the nether, so I fill the floor up with more netherrack, throw in some lava, then attempt to build the spire bridge and change my mind last minute, throw in some fire, and I make a golden entrance with sinacite and some other jazz, but I don't like it, and I ultimately try mixing it up and just throw some soul sand and slap the sinacite on the side of the build. Then I promptly die. This server, I'm weak to fire, and slimes have no resilience to it, so I just perish because I forget to eat food. Anyway, the last arena that I wanted was a beach arena because I felt there was not a sufficient amount of water, and I wanted a relaxing place to die in the glory of battle. So replacing the floor, I decided on a more sandy beach instead of more water, so we could actually PvP and not have a pool party with deadly weapons. The little perspective changes here because there's a massive tree that grows in the center. This is where I struggled to decide the upper part of the build. I don't know what material to use, and I experiment with some terracotta, but then I realized I don't have enough of that, and I'm not a fan of the grayish terracotta. Then I try a detailed brick, but I'm not a fan of that either because I felt like it was too textured against the terracotta, so I decided on just more red. Just red. If you're not sick of the color red yet, then I am astounded at your tolerance of a single color and will change your mind yet. I throw up the walls of the other arenas by doing the same pattern-ish. For the outer walls of the arena, I have the same material usually as the floor, so the netherrack area, I have netherrack as the walls. Then I go on to the next arena, which is the grassy arena. I have trouble deciding what to use, so jungle versus birch logs versus dirt, which would look ugly. So I decide on birch planks, which is horrible because it's flammable, but I'm running out of options, so I use it anyway. For the final arena with the winter arena, I just do ice for the outline, then red top with a red outline for the, railings, yeah. I think I also realized I had steps to most of them, maybe half of them, I don't remember. I struggled to keep coherent thought during this build. There was no pattern to my madness. After I foolishly decide, this build isn't red enough, I built the entire main stadium out of red terracotta. To make this, I followed the outline I previously built, slowly scaling up the walls, while watching Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. When I close my eyes, there's no reprieve. It feels as if the red is flowing through my very veins. As hundreds of blocks of red terracotta outpour from my inventory, it starts to drive me mad. Anyways, I skipped a bit of experimenting with blocks and styles at this point. I kind of skipped the recording of that. And the I have no idea what I'm doing is really starting to show here. My regret for everything is causing me to wallow in grief. The next day, my grief subsided, like all of my happiness does when I enter school, and I recruited an assistant named Fugi. We built the second floor and some stairs, and a third floor with the final large design for the arena is planned to go with a mixture of all four arenas. Here's the second floor that we built. It's not that exciting. We had plans for it, but then we gave it up because I wanted sleep that night, at least a reasonable amount. Now with the top arena, what we decided to do is the stairs is in that corner there. We built an outline here with some entrances. There's a thing that tells me to restart my computer, and I ignore it willfully. After that, we begin terraforming and add some of the walls. This is all out of order because we were running out of materials and things were limited. Also, was our time. We have some basic outlines that we're going to just fill with detail. So there's a tree we threw in. We're going to throw in some lava. We're going to throw in seashells, flowers, all that jazz. Then here are our finished builds. So here's the winter arena that we have. Here's the beach arena. Then we have next the nether arena. Then we have the final arena, which is the grassy one with too many flowers. Then here's the giant outline of this because I didn't get a close-up of the big one because I was too sleep deprived to remember. So here's just a big shot of the whole thing. This took too many hours of my life. Anyways, after I